I feel blessed because my beautiful mother, Mavis, has recently turned 96. Her body's frail and not so strong now, but her mind certainly is. She's proud and independent and likes to do things her way and for herself. Sometimes when I'm trying to help, feels like I'm walking on eggshells. Mum reminds me in her most commanding voice, I push the pram. I listen and know, because it's her way of saying, just remember who I am. She was part of the Windrush generation and worked on until her retirement. She paid her taxes, national insurance, and now feels entitled to help from what she calls this unfair government. For 30 years, from the 1950s to the 1980s, Mum worked in many different places. Earning a living was a necessity, so that was more important than any kind of status. Packing foods in factories, caring for the sick, and years spent even cooking for the Met Police. All that time she was caring for others. So now, why today is she the victim of austerity? I believe there's something politicians with their austerity measures often overlook. The many sacrifices made, the emotional strain and the effort that it took. For black women, especially, many leaving parents, homes and families, coming to England not knowing what their new life would be. Mum remembers Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret visiting Jamaica in the 1940s. She joined people proudly waving flags, welcoming royalty from the mother country. But coming to England, she got abuse about monkeys with tails and other horrid stories. The locals wanted black people out and shouted, "Nigger, you stink, go back to your own countries." Life was tough back then, but despite the hardships many families faced, though some returned, Mum couldn't go, so like others, she remained. Sadly, the faded hopes, dreams and disappointment of a so-called better life didn't work for my parents, and their mutual sadness meant their marriage slowly died. Mum talks about the 5-year plan that many West Indian people had when they came. It was come to England, earn enough money, then go back home again. But 5 years passed, then before they knew it, 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years and more. Now they're either too sick or too old to leave, and the 5-year plan, well, that's gone out the door. So today, she may be alone, but whatever happens, I'll support my mum in every way to continue living in her home, as that's where she insists she wants to stay. Of course, at her age, she does get unsteady, so at times it can be a risky business. But at 96, what's more important, her personal choice or her personal fitness? While there's always the daily worry about mum being home and being safe, there's also the struggle to make sure she has a decent carer service in place. The carer's role is to support us, the loved ones, with jobs we or other family members can't do. But with council cuts, the carers do the bare minimum and their time is limited too. So because I'm her daughter, it becomes my responsibility to fill the gaps in care that are a direct result of the government's programme of austerity. Like other relatives, we care for our loved ones with little recognition and for little or no pay. And we also have to balance our carer's role with trying to live our own lives each day. We hear, as Mum says, this unfair government giving lip service to the contribution carers are making. But with fewer carer services provided by local government, the Treasury is actually making a saving. They clearly have no idea and even less concern about what's happening at the carer coalface, about the huge impact that being a carer has on our emotional, mental, physical and financial states. When we're tired, it's difficult to always give those we love and those we care for our full attention. And we feel bad about admitting at times we feel anger, resentment and frustration. Though we may not always express or understand what these feelings are all about, Others know, and they say, could be the early signs of carer burnout. But as usual, we'll carry on doing all we can to give the best care to those we love. But we do deserve more respect and support for our role, as caring can be really tough. So, we call upon the politicians, the decision makers, the influencers, and all the powers that be to care about the carers, create a fairer and more equal society, rebalance the economy, and immediately put an end to austerity.